Hello, hi everyone. My name is Dr. Sana Khan, and in this video, we are going to talk about population interaction. And here, especially, we are going to talk about mutualism. See, this part of the chapter from organism and population, where they talk about different types of population interaction, is very important. Plus, I would say that it is little bit confusing because there is a lot of examples which you need to remember. I would say that you can make a gist of all the examples in your books and you can remember it because it will give you a lot of marks even in your board exam as well as NEET exam. So let's start and talk about first about in population interaction. So let's see what is exactly population interaction. See, in nature, animals, plants, microbes, they cannot live in associate, they cannot live in isolation, right? In fact, I feel that there is no one who could live isolated. Nobody likes to stay alone, right? We obviously need somebody. We need people around us to feel actually normal. Same way, the animals, plants, and microbes, they all interact with each other. Somewhere or the other, they are dependent on each other, right? So interaction is could be in various forms. Like they could, there would be a certain time where they would benefit from each other, or they may harm each other, and many more interactions, which we are going to talk in the subsequent slides. So there are three types of factors which govern ecological interactions, that is requirement and mode of obtaining food, type and area of shelter, and habits of different population. So these are the three factors which are very, very important in population interactions. Okay, so the first one is requirement and mode of obtaining food, type and area of shelter, and habits of different populations. So there could be two types of interaction. The first could be interspecific interaction, and the second would be intraspecific interaction. So there are two types of interaction, interspecific and intraspecific. So let us see few name of interactions which we need to know. The first one is mutualism, then comes the competition, predation, parasitism, commensalism, and amensalism. So these are the interactions which we are going to talk in detail. You're going to find all the videos coming up very soon. So I'm going to take an example over here. There are two species, species A and species B. So we are going to understand these type of interactions with the help of these two species. Okay. So what happens in mutualism? Let us see. In mutualism, mutual means kahin na kahin you can understand the word association, right? Together. So here in mutualism, species A as well as species B, they are all going to benefit from each other. That's why I've written plus. Plus means it's going to benefit from each other. In competition, see, whenever there is a competition, kahi na kahi, everybody, whoever is there in the competition loses something or the other. Okay, obviously there is only one who can win, and the rest of the one have to be in the second, third, fourth place. So same way here, when two species are competing with each other, there would be a negative impact in both the species, right? When there is a war between the two countries, right, the obviously one would win, but there would be a lot of consequences, a lot of loss which both the countries are going to face, right? Same way in competition also, both the species are going to have a little bit of drawback. Then predation may the one species is going to benefit and the other is going to be harmed. That is why over here it is plus and minus. So predation, one species is benefited and the other is harmed. Parasitism is again the same thing. One is going to get benefited, other is going to get harmed. In commensalism, one is going to get benefited and the other is neither going to get benefited nor harmed. That is why I've written 0. So what does that mean? That it's not neither going to get benefit or neither it's going to get harm. Okay, so it's like the zero impact on it, on the other species. And amensalism also, there would be negative impact. It's a little bit different from commensalism. Commensalism, the one species get benefited, but in amensalism, one species gets a negative impact while the other species doesn't have any impact on the body. Matlab, it doesn't have any harm, neither it's having any benefit. Okay, so these type of interactions, if you can remember this tabular, it is going to be easier for you to answer your MCQs. Okay, so I'm not going to explain each and every one in this video, but yes, in the subsequent videos you will be finding all the terms explained with examples in detail. Okay, so which are the positive or beneficial interactions? Positive or beneficial interactions are that type of interactions where no organism in relation is harmed and one or both may be benefited. So yeah, at least one or both may be benefited, but nobody is going to get harmed in positive interaction. That's called as positive interactions. Okay, so the examples over here are mutualism, proto-cooperation, commensalism, scavenging. Okay, so these are the few examples. So let us talk about the main part of this video, that is mutualism. I hope you are going to remember all the exams. So whenever you're watching a video, please pay a proper attention to the examples. So mutualism is a type of interactions where both of the species is going to get benefited. Okay, so the two interacting species completely depend on each other for their growth and survival. So both of them are going to get benefited and both of them are dependent on each other for their growth and survival. So both the interacting organisms fail to show normal growth in the absence of this association. See why I have included all these small points, because you people go wrong when the question comes like what following are the points like following are the points from which pick up the correct one or pick up the incorrect one about mutualism. So you people go wrong in that. So to avoid that, I've included all small pointers as well. So when both of them are going to get benefited, so the both of them are not going to show any they are not going to show normal growth also when one of them are absent. So physical contact is also present in both between both the interacting species. So let us talk quickly about all the examples. So first one is between an animal and animal. So here there are two organisms which I have put on the screen. The first one is the termite and the second one is Trichonympha. So the flagellates, these flagellates live in the termite's gut and helps in the digestion of cellulose. Okay, so Trichonympha is going to stay in the termite gut. So it's going to get benefited. It's going to have a host thing, and it is going to help the termite in its digestion. So both of them are going to get benefited. So another example is between plant and animal. So here the examples are Hydra and Zoochlorella, which is a Zoochlorella is a kind of algae. So Zoochlorella will use carbon dioxide and nitrogenous and phosphorus waste from their host and in turn provides them with oxygen and useful nutrients. So Zoochlorella is going to use certain products from the host like from the Hydra, and in response to that it's going to give him oxygen. Okay, and also nutrients. Another example is between a plant and an animal. So here the examples are acacia and ants. So plant provides the ants with nest sites, carbohydrates and protein in return for defense against herbivore by the ants. So here what is happening? The plant is going to provide ants with various things, and in response to that, ants is going to give a protection from the herbivores. Another example is between a plant and a bacteria. So here the pea plant, obviously this is an example. I feel everybody know that the pea plant is over here will be associated with the rhizobium, which is present in the root nodules, and it helps in fixing of nitrogen, right? Because you know na, atmospheric nitrogen cannot be used by the plant. But plus nitrogen is very important for the plant, so it need to be fixed in the form which can be used like in the form of nitrates, right? That's called as nitrification, and that is done by this bacteria. Okay, coming to the next example, that is between plant and algae. So here anthoceros, I hope you remember what is anthoceros. You must have studied in kingdom plantae, right? And anabina and nostoc. So over here these cyanobacteria is going to live within the anthoceros plants, and they are going to fix nitrogen and give it to the plant. Okay, so one is getting the host and the other is getting nitrogen. Okay, they're fixing of nitrogen. Another example is between algae and fungi. So here it represents an mutualistic relationship between a fungus and photosynthetic algae or Cyanobacteria. So यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, यहाँ पर there is a symbiotic relationship between the algae and a fungus, okay, and both of them is going to get benefit. Another examples are between fungi and higher plants. So you can see two images in front of your screen. The first is a normal tomato plant, and the second is a tomato plant which is having mycorrhizal fungi in its roots. Okay, so you are going to study about mycorrhizae also in one of my videos. So I hope you all are watching all the videos of our so that you get a lot of benefit. Okay, so in the first like in the first image you can see a normal tomato plant, and in the second image you can see a tomato plant with mycorrhizal fungi. You can see the difference itself in the image. So here what happens, the fungi will help the plant in the absorption of essential nutrients from the soil, while the plant in turn is going to provide the fungi with energy yielding carbohydrate. So fungi is helping the plant for absorption of nutrients and in its development, and while the fungi is giving the essential nutrients, while the plant is giving the essential carbohydrates to the fungi. Another example is between algae and coelenterates. I told you a lot of examples. So here what is happening, let's see. So the coral provides the algae with a protected environment and compounds they need for photosynthesis. In return, the algae produce oxygen and help the coral to remove waste. So here what is happening, the coral is giving that protected environment to the algae, and it's also giving the compounds which are necessary for photosynthesis, while the algae is performing photosynthesis and producing oxygen and helping the corals to remove waste. Okay. Another example, this is the example which is there in your NCERT, and it's so important. How much ever I stress, it's less for this example. Okay, see, there are certain examples which are there in the NCERT, but there are certain examples which I've included little bit extra because I've seen these examples coming as an MCQ. Okay, so another example over here is pollination by insects. So it's the most spectacular and evolutionary fascinating examples because we all know that without, obviously there are certain abiotic agents like air, water, right? They also perform pollination, but yes, insects play a lot of important role in pollination, right? So plants will need a help of animals for pollinating their flowers and dispersing their seeds, right? So plants will offer reward. So plants, obviously when plant is taking the help of the animal, the plant has to give something to that animal, right? And that would be what? That would be obviously the nectar. So plant is going to give a reward to the bees, that is going to give nectar, so that they for pollinations and juice, which is very juicy in nature, and it will also help in seed dispersal. So plant interaction is often evolved as a co-evolution of the mutualistic, means both should be evolved together. So evolution of the flower and its pollinator species are tightly linked with one another. So both the evolution of both the things are very much linked to one another. Another example, very important NCERT example, that is fig tree and wasp. So in many species of fig trees, there is a tight one-to-one relationship with the pollinator species of wasp. So here there is a tree called as fig tree. The pollinator name is wasp. So a given fig species can be pollinated only by its partner wasp species. Okay, so it can be only pollinated by its partner wasp species. So the female wasp will use the fruit, okay, it will use this fruit as an oviposition, means it will use the fruit to lay the eggs, okay, and it will also use the developing seeds within the fruit for nourishing its larvae. So it's going to lay the egg also over there, plus the seeds which are there, it is going to use that, so that when it lays the egg, obviously they are going to hatch out and form into larvae, so they are going to get nourishment from that developing seeds which are present inside the fig tree fruit. So the wasp pollinates the fig inflorescence while searching for suitable egg-laying sites. So why the wasp is coming to this plant? Because obviously it is finding a place for its laying the eggs, and when it lays the egg, it also does pollination. So this is how the both of them are going to benefit from each other. Another example is another thing which you have to remember over here is mutually beneficial system should also be safeguarded against cheaters. Okay, like what is cheater? Let us understand this. See, there would be certain time where animals would come. It will not pollinate the plant. Okay, it will not pollinate, but still it will steal the nectar. That's called as cheater. Okay, so the best cheater over here, the example over here is Ophrys, which is a Mediterranean orchid. So Ophrys employs sexual deceit to get pollination done by a species of a bee. So what happens over here? So one petal is going to resemble like a female bee. Can you see the diagram over here? See this petal. So this petal looks like a female bee in size, color, and everything. Okay, it's exactly resembling the female bee. So the male bee, so this is the male bee, it's going to get attracted obviously to, because it's going to feel that it is a female bee, but it is not. It's just the cheating kind of a thing. So the male bee is getting attracted to what it perceives as a female, pseudo copulates with the flower, and during that process is dusted with pollen from the flower. So during that process, it's going to get dusted with the flower. So when it's coming for the male bee. Okay, so but you are here obviously it's a kind of a cheating, because only the pollination is going to get done, nothing else. But if the female bee's color pattern change even slightly, okay, for any reason during evolution, pollination success will be reduced unless the orchid flower co-evolves to maintain the resemblance. See, yahan par the main thing was resemblance. Okay, so the flower, one petal was resembling, and the bee was also resembling to each other. So if any of them would change, the like the possibility of pollination here is also going to get changed. So they have to be co-evolved. So anytime when there are color or something gets changed in any of the two, the other has to be changed in order to get the pollination done. So that's all about in population interactions and mutualism. I know there are a lot of examples which I have mentioned in this video, but try to understand those examples because they are very, very important for your exams. Okay? So that's all about mutualism. I'll meet you soon with the next video. Till then, bye. Take care. Study hard. Work for your dreams. Exams are coming very near. Do work hard and achieve your goals.